أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لقد كفر الذين قالوا إن الله هو المسيح ابن مريم. قل فمن يملك من الله شيئا إن أراد أن يهلك المسيح ابن مريم وأمه ومن في الأرض جميعا ولله ملك السماوات والأرض ولله ملك السماوات والأرض وما بينهما يخلق ما يشاء والله على كل شيء قدير. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره والدار العظيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين. My brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today we are going to continue from where we stopped yesterday in our Quranic studies in this Ramadan, inshallah. Yesterday we stopped at verse number 16, and today, inshallah, we are starting from verse number 17. Allah is saying, لَقَدْ كَفَرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الْمَسِيحُ ابْنُ مَرْيَمَ. Those who have said that Jesus, the son of Mary, is Lord, they have really become unbelievers. قل فمن يملك من الله شيئا إن أراد أن يهلك المسيح ابن مريم وأمه ومن في الأرض جميعا. Who can stop Allah if He really intended to kill everyone, including Jesus and Mary, His mother, and everyone on the face of the earth? وَلِلَّهِ مُلْكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا. What is in the heavens and what is in the earth and what is in between the two of them all belongs to Allah. يَخْلُقُ مَا يَشَاءُ. He creates whatever He will. Allahu ala kulli shayin qadir. Allah is so powerful, whatever He wants to do, subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is an admonition to the people of book who claim Trinity, and Allah is telling them that Trinity is baseless. Trinity is not part of a good creed. Trinity is not something you can worship Allah with, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Once you delve into Trinity, then you go astray and you're not coming back until you repent from that Trinity. So Jesus is not God. Jesus is the prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He is an apostle, and He has no problem being a servant of Allah, like the Christians would want to portray. قالت اليهود والنصارى نحن أبناء الله وأحباؤه قل فلم يعذبكم بذنوبكم بل أنتم بشر ممن خلق يغفر لمن يشاء ويعذب من يشاء ولله ملك السماوات والأرض وما بينهما وإليه المصير. The Jews and the Christians would say that we are the children of God and we are the lovers of God, and that is what they tell you. Then ask them, why does Allah punish you because of your sins? You are not as you claim you are, but human beings just like any other human beings from among Allah's creation. He forgives to whomever He so wish, and He punishes whomever He so wishes. And to Allah belongs belongs whatever it's in the earth and in the heavens, and whatever it's in between the two of them. And to Him is the destination of everyone. The historical context of this verse is that some Jewish people came to the Prophet ﷺ about an issue. They asked him some question. He has answered them, but they still refused to accept the religion. And then he started warning them, and telling them about the punishment of Allah and all of that. And they got really scared, but they were trying to hide how scared they were. Then they said, no, stop scaring us with Allah, because we are His children and we are His beloved ones, and therefore God is not going to punish us. All these punishment you're talking about are not for us, they are for other people, not us. And then this verse was revealed to him through angel Gabriel. قالت اليهود والنصارى نحن أبناء الله وأحباؤه. The Jewish people and the Christians people would say that we are the children of God and we are the beloved people in the sight of God, and therefore he's not going to punish us. If he's not going to punish you, ask them, if he's not going to punish you, why has he been punishing you in the past? When you ended up in the hands of Copts in Egypt under Pharaoh and you became their slaves and their servants, wasn't that a punishment? And why did God did that to you? Wasn't it because of your sins, the too much sins that you've committed? Right? Many of the things that happened to you in this life, including when you have been persecuted by many people, including when you didn't even have a place to stay, wasn't that punishment? And why was Allah doing that to you? Wasn't it because of your sins? بل أنتم بشر ممن خلق. You are not as you claim. You are not, but just like human beings, just like any other human beings created by God subhanahu wa ta'ala, يغفر لمن يشاء, and he is the one who forgives to whomever he so wish, ويعذب من يشاء, and he is the one who punishes whomever he so wish. And it depends on the category that you fall in. If you fall in the category of those he wish to punish, you're going to end up in his punishment, and that will depend on how you relate with the prophets and how you relate with the message that Allah sent. And he punishes those that he so wish. So if you fall in this category, no one can stop him from punishing you. And at that moment, you will realize that your claim is baseless. You are not his children. You are not his beloved ones. You're just human beings like any other human beings. And the mulk, the ownership of the samawat, the heavens, and the earth, and whatever is in between belongs to him, and no one can tell him what to do. And the final destination belongs to him, because everyone eventually returns to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يا أهل الكتاب قد جاءكم رسولنا يبين لكم على فترة من الرسل أن تقولوا ما جاءنا من بشير ولا نذير فقد جاءكم بشير ونذير الله على كل شيء قدير. يا أهل الكتاب قد جاءكم رسولنا يبين لكم على فترة من الرسل. O you, the people of the scriptures, our apostle really has come to you, and he is explaining to you whatever you need to know. And he comes in between the time of prophets, when there are no prophets for a very long time, and تقولوا ما جاءنا من بشير ولا نذير, so that you won't come and say that Bashir, a prophet who is giving glad tidings, did not come to us, or a prophet who is warning us against sins did not come to us. Verily, a warner and a giver of glad tidings has come to you. Allah ala kulli shayin qadir, and Allah is so powerful on whatever he so wish over everything. The historical context of this verse actually has to do with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When they refuse to accept his message, Allah is reminding them that, look, Allah has sent many prophets from among you, between Ibrahim alayhi salam and Musa alayhi salam. Thousands of prophets were sent, thousands, right? And most of them Banu Israel, right? But between Moses and Jesus, many years, and many prophets were sent, thousands of them also were sent. But between Jesus and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, about 571 years between his birth and his birth, alayhi salam, or on other riwayat, as narrated by Imam al-Qurtubi in his tafsir, 569, right? Rather than 571, he said, and 69 minus 2 years. Between those years, there were no many prophets. Only about 4 prophets in all, and even these 4 prophets with some disagreement among scholars. For example, and the interpretation of the verses that came in Surah Yasin, أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث وقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون. These are prophets that were sent to them after Isa alayhi salam. And these 3 people, all of them were part of the Hawari Isa, those that Isa alayhi salam talked to. أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا أنصارا لله كما قال عيسى ابن مريم من أنصاري إلى الله قال الحواريون نحن أنصار الله آمنا بالله واشهد بأننا مسلمون. Those Hawariyin, they became the supporters of the Messenger of Allah, Isa alayhi salam. After him, 2 of them were sent to Bani Israel again, and they did not trust them. They did not believe them. They refused to believe in them. Right? And was this Nabi Salisin, and then a 3rd one was sent to come and support these 2. فَقَالُوا إِنَّا عَلَيْكُمْ مُرْسَلُونَ. That is according to one interpretation of the verse, that these people came after Jesus and from among the Hawari Jesus alayhi salam. But sometime in between that period, between the period of Prophet Muhammad sallam and Isa alayhi salam, another Arab prophet was sent, another apostle was sent from the tribe of Bani Abs, and he was called Khalid ibn Sinan, Nabiullah Khalid ibn Sinan, who was reported based on some riwayats that were not unanimously accepted by all Islamic scholars, that he was actually a prophet. Therefore, there was an Arab prophet. But whatever the case may be, there's a gap of over 400 years. Some scholars will put it at 410, others will put it at 430 something years. This is what is known as ala fatratin min ar-rusul, the gap in between prophets, right? And this is the period within which anyone who, as a result of not having any messenger that warn him or give him glad tidings, any missionary from God, would the hisabuhu ala Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah knows how to judge that person because he didn't receive any. But the people of the book that became contemporaries to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam no longer have that excuse, right? And it's because they were aware of that excuse, and they think, okay, whatever we do in the day of judgment, we're going to tell God that it was the gap period, and within that gap period, you promise that you're not going to punish anyone who you know how to judge the person, because we didn't receive any warner, we didn't receive any giver of glad tidings. And this is the excuse that Allah is telling them. It's no longer valid. It's not going to work. Right now, this is not valid, and this is not going to work. Ya Ahl Kitab, qad ja'akum rasuluna. Our prophet, our apostle has come over to you. Ala fatratin min ar-rusul, after the gap time. And taqulu ma ja'ana min bashirin wa nadhir. You can no longer say that a warner or glad tidings giver did not come to you. Qad ja'akum bashirun wa nadhir. Here you are, a glad tidings giver and a warner has come to you, and that is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahu ala kulli shay'in qadir, and Allah is over all things, competent, so powerful and competent in all the things. وإذ قال موسى لقومه يا قوم اذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ جعل فيكم أنبياء وجعلكم ملوكا وآتاكم ما لم يؤت أحدا من العالمين. O Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, remember the time when Moses was telling his people, يا قوم اذكروا نعمة الله عليكم, remember the favors of Allah upon you, جعلكم فيكم أنبياء, when he put so many prophets from among you, جعلكم ملوكا, and he made you kings. وآتاكم ما لم يؤت أحدا من العالمين, he has actually given you what he did not give to anyone before you. There are a number of interpretations about about إذ جعل فيكم أنبياء, There is no question about this. From the beginning of the ayah, when Musa was telling them to remember the favors of Allah, and then the favors of Allah were mentioned in three categories. جعل فيكم أنبياء, as the first one. جعلكم ملوكا, as the second one. آتاكم ما لم يؤت أحدا من العالمين, and has given you what he has not given to anyone else. These are the three things that were referred to as favors of Allah. نعمة الله عليكم. Right? About the first category of the ni'mah, that is جعل فيكم أنبياء, there's no two-way about this. The generality of the population of the prophets that Allah ever sent, most of them were from Bani Israel, right? If you look at all the prophets that came after Ibrahim, very few of them were not Bani Israel, and the few of them who are not Bani Israel were actually the grandparents of the Bani Israel. Jacob alayhi salam, Yaqub is the one called Israel, and he has 12 children, and those 12 children, their progeny, all of them became prophets, right? Or most of them became prophets, right? And those are the ones called al-asbat. قولوا آمنا بالله وما أنزل إلينا وما أنزل إلى إبراهيم وإسماعيل وإسحاق ويعقوب والأسباط وما أوتي موسى وعيسى وما أوتي النبيون من ربهم لا نفرق بين أحد منهم ونحن له مسلمون. So those asbab that we have mentioned there are all the prophets that come through the progeny of Israel, Yaqub alayhi salam. That's Nabiullah Yaqub alayhi salam. And there were thousands of them, literally thousands of them until the time of Isa alayhi salam, and that is what Allah is referring to. وَجَعَلَكُمْ مُلُوكًا, and He made you kings. What is the meaning of kings in this verse? The word became seriously problematic in the interpretation, because when you refer back to Kutub Tafsir, the books of Tafsir, many of them find it difficult to interpret this, because many a times Banu Israel were either persecuted by all people, enslaved by other people throughout their history and all of that, despite the fact that they had many prophets, and but they ended up disobeying the prophet to the extent of killing some of the prophets, and as a result of which Allah made their hearts so hard, and they keep making mistakes upon mistakes upon mistakes, and the repercussion of which became very difficult and terrible on them. Therefore, how do we now interpret the word Ja'alakum Muluka? And the way to go about it is that the standard interpretation given was that after Allah has saved them from Pharaoh, from Egypt, and drowned Pharaoh in the river, now they regain their freedom, and they were able to be independent. And that independence was what Allah referred to as al-mulk. And it comes in hadith, whoever his door would have to be knocked before his house is visited, that is a king. As long as you have your own territory within your house, and nobody can be able to just open your door and come into your house without actually knocking and asking for permission, you are a king. And that is the kind of kingdom that Allah was talking about. But I think actually it's as a result of the fact that the level of content of knowledge that Allah has put in within Quran is so vast that not everything will be understood in any specific period of time, right? Every period of time, the people will understand what they understand by the verses, and then people will keep interpreting as knowledge becomes more abundant and more open till the day of Qiyamah. And I think that is the reason this particular word in this verse became a little bit problematic in the past. Unlike nowadays, when you look at Banu Israel, both the Jewish and the Christians among them, when you look at the context of our today's life, you realize, yes, they are actually muluk. They are actually the kings of the world today, because they are the richest, they are the most knowledgeable, and they determine what happens in the world. They determine who becomes rich, who becomes poor, which country is under sanction, which country's economy is booming, which country is to be fought, which country is to be saved, and all of that. So today, the meaning of this word in this verse is more more obvious than it used to be in the past. So we don't even need to start scavenging for asar from here and there, trying to interpret the word, because the interpretation is so open, glaringly clear in our in our sight today. وَآتَاكُمْ مَا لَمْ يُؤْتِ أَحَدًا مِنَ الْعَالَمِينَ, and He has given you what He has not given to anyone from among different people in the universe. And what is that thing that He has given them that He hasn't given to any one? The standard interpretations, there are a number of interpretations, but the standard interpretation here is that He has given them more number of prophets than He has given to any single tribe. That is what is meant by وَآتَاكُمْ مَا لَمْ يُؤْتِ أَحَدًا مِنَ الْعَالَمِينَ. يا قوم ادخلوا الأرض المقدسة التي كتب الله لكم ولا ترتدوا على أدباركم فتنقلبوا خاسرين. O my people, get into the holy land that Allah has written or made lawful for you. ولا ترتدوا على أدباركم, and do not turn your back against it. فتنقلبوا خاسرين, and then you become the biggest losers. This verse, the historical context of this verse is that there was a particular land that was described as Holy Land, which was promised to Bani Israel. Islamic scholars generally disagree about which specific city was that. Some would name it as Ariyaha, different kind of names. Some will say it's Damascus, some will say it's Palestine, some will say it's a city very close to Palestine, not exactly Palestine. Whatever the case may be, this promise was there and it was meant to be fulfilled under Musa alayhi salam. Then Musa told them that, look, now Allah has saved you from Pharaoh, and Pharaoh was drowned in a river, and now, even though you are now, your mind is on going back to Egypt, but that is not what Allah said. What Allah said is that there is a specific land that is meant for you. That land is yours. Let's go there. Problem is, there are some people there that we have to go and fight them, and because they disobey Allah, they have been disobeying prophets. So let's go there, fight those people. After fighting those people, and then we are going to settle down in that land. But do not turn your back against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because if you do that, you are going to be the biggest losers. And actually, as we have studied previously, Musa alayhi salam has taken some 12 people from among them, representatives of each of the 12 tribes of Bani Israel, and sent them as spies to go and spy on that land and look at it and see what is in there and how the people conduct themselves, so that they would come and strategize on how best to fight them. So they went there and came back. But when they went there, they were overwhelmed, because they realized that the people living there were so giant that one of them can only carry a number of them on his palm. And they realized that, man, this is really going to be tough. And they got really, really scared, right? So they met someone by name Iwaj ibn Unuq. Oh, according to other narrations, his name was Iwaj ibn Ainaq, or Iwaj ibn A'naq. These are the three different narrations about his name. So they met him, and he happens to be those people actually were the progeny of the Ad tribe that lived in the past, so giant in terms of their build. And this guy that they met happened to be the biggest from among them in terms of his build. So he was in his garden trying to pluck some fruits when he saw them coming in, and he was like surprised. These people look like us, but they are nothing like us because they are so small. So he picked some of them in his hand, in his palm, and he was talking to them, and he was surprised they were responding and telling him what they wanted. He asked them, who are you? They told him that we are Bani Israel. What's your mission here? We came here to fight you. And he laughed. Can you really fight us? Then he took all of them with him to his house. When he dropped what he brought from the garden, then he moved to the king of the land and went there and present those guys to the king of the land and say that, look at these people. I met them in my farm, in my garden, and their mission is that they are coming here to fight us. And the king laughed and tell them, go back to your people and tell them what you have seen. So those 12 people, which are called Ithna Ashara Naqiba, they went back to Musa alayhi salam and they reported to him what they have seen. And then Musa alayhi salam told them that, okay, this is what you have seen. Don't go about scaring the hell out of your people. Just go and encourage them that we are going to this war and we are going to win the war because Allah has promised us that we are going to win the war. So don't go about scaring the hell out of your people. قالوا يا موسى إن فيها قوما جبارين وإنا لن ندخلها حتى يخرجوا منها فإن يخرجوا منها فإنا داخلون. But unfortunately, these people actually uh, disappointed Musa alayhi salam. They went back and told their people what they have seen and really scared them to the marrow of their bones. And when the people got scared, they said, no, this is not going to happen. Ya Musa, inna fiha qawman jabbarin. There are some giant people in there. Inna lanadkhulaha, and we are not going to go in there hatta yakhruju fiha, until they get out of that place. But once they get out of the place, then we are going to get in. But that's not making sense because Allah was asking them not just to go there and settle down, but to go and do something for the sake of Allah, to go and do jihad. Because those people disobeyed Allah for a very long time, and Allah wanted to prove to them that He has some servants who are loyal to Him and actually much smaller in terms of build, but they can fight you and finish you. But they refused. They say, no way, we are not going there. قالوا يا موسى إن فيها قوما جبارين. There are some really giant people in there, and we are not going to get in there until they get out of the place. يخرج منها فإنا داخلون. Once they are out, then we are in, which defeated the purpose completely. قال رجلان من الذين يخافون أنعم الله عليهم ادخلوا عليهم الباب فإذا دخلتموه فإنكم غالبون وعلى الله فتوكلوا إن كنتم مؤمنين. And then there are two people from among the ones who are afraid who said that, but Allah has given them favor of Iman. And they said, go and get into that place through the door. Once you get into that city, you are going to win the battle. Allah and rely upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as long as you are believers. There's disagreement among exegesis scholars about who these two people are. And the first category said these two people are actually some believers from among the people of the city of the Holy Land who happened to be believers and believe in Musa and his mission and knew actually he was coming. But because they were scared of their people, they couldn't tell them anything about their Iman. They couldn't even tell them about Musa alayhi salam. But they sneak out of the city into the camp of Musa and his people. And that is when they came and started promising, trying to encourage these people that, look, these are our people. We know them. They are just large in terms of build, but they have a very weak heart. Once you get in, you're going to win this battle. We are promising you because we know them. We know what we're talking about. And then they refuse. They say, no, we are not going to get in as long as these giant people are in there. This is one interpretation. The second interpretation is that these people were actually from among the Ithna Ashara Naqiba, the 12 representatives that Musa alayhi salam have taken so that they go and spy for him. Two of them refused to discourage their people and refused to divulge the secret that they were warned by Musa alayhi salam not to divulge. And the word yakhafuna here, that they are afraid, it doesn't mean that they are afraid of those people. What it means is that they are afraid of God. But they were afraid of disobeying God subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allahu alayhim, and Allah has given them favor of Iman, that they were the only ones who stayed firm to their promise to Musa alayhi salam. And they were the ones who are now encouraging the people, telling them, go in there. Once you get in there, you are going to win this battle. Allah and rely upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As long as you are believers, Rely on Allah, and Allah is going to give you the nasr once you get it. قالوا يا موسى إنا لن ندخلها أبدا ما داموا فيها اذهب أنت وربك فقاتلا إنا هاهنا قاعدون. And they said, oh Musa, we are not going to go there. لن ندخلها أبدا ما داموا فيها. As long as those people were in there, we are not going to get in there. It's not going to work. This is not us, someone else. Right? We are not going to go and fight those people. فَاذْهَبْ أَنْتَ وَرَبُّكَ فَقَاتِلَا. As long as you insist on the battle, go there with your Lord. Go and fight them. إِنَّهَا هُنَا قَائِدُونَ. But we are going to wait for you here till you finish the fight and come back. You are going to meet us here. And once you finish the fight, and then we are going to go into that place. And that is the peak of disloyalty to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to look at his prophet and his apostle, someone that he sent to you. Look at him in the eye and tell him, no, we're not going to do this. We are not going to do this. And even to the extent of telling him that, look, go you and your Lord and fight these people. There's still disagreement among scholars about what is the meaning of Rabbuka here. Right? First category of scholars said they don't actually mean your Lord as in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What they mean is your Lord, your elder brother, that is Harun alayhi salam, go together with your elder brother. And the subsequent ayah is going to corroborate with this interpretation actually. Go there, you and your elder brother, whom they refer to as your Lord here, and fight these people. Because we can see that your brother is very loyal to whatever you tell him, he's going to listen to you. But we are not listening. You go there, you and your brother, and fight these people. But we are going to wait here until you guys are done and come back. And then probably if you want us to go there, then we are going to go with you. And another interpretation is that actually they mean you and your Lord, right? And that is peak of transgression for them to tell him that he should go himself and his Lord to fight. And that is what makes them, if that is what they meant actually, then they became disbelievers by saying this. And what actually made them disbelievers is not the fact that they said he should fight with his Lord, but the fact they said you should go with your Lord. The word fazhab, anta rabbuka, fazhab, the word fazhab is what made them unbelievers, because that word automatically made them from among the denomination of Muslims that are called al-mushabbiha, because al-mushabbiha, they are the ones who believe that God can move from one place to another because he acts like human beings. They are making his attitudes, his nature to be like that of a human being, so he can move from one place to another. So that word fazhab is what made them actually non-believers, if that is what they mean. And قال رب إني لا أملك إلا نفسي وأخي فافرق بيننا وبين القوم الفاسقين. قال رب إني لا أملك إلا نفسي. And then Musa alayhi salam said, oh Lord, I have no control over anyone except myself, وأخي, and my brother. فافرق بيننا وبين القوم الفاسقين. Therefore, I pray to you that you put a demarcation between us and this fasiq people, this disobedient people, right? Depending on the way you recite this verse, the meaning of the verse can change from one recitation to another. If you recite it as قال رب لا أملك إلا نفسي وأخي, and consider the wow of in between nafsi and akhi, wa. This wow, is it wow al-atf, the article of linkage article? If that is the case, then what the ayah means, what the verse means is, I have control only over myself and my brother. But if you consider the wow isti'naf, which means the article of starting a sentence, right? Then it means I have no control over anyone except myself, and the same thing with my brother. He has no control over anyone except himself. That is what it means. And there are a number of other interpretations based on the differences of the Arab of the sentence in there. فَفْرُقْ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَ الْقَوْمِ الْفَاسِقِينَ, and therefore I am praying to you so that you put demarcation between us and this transgressing people. What does that mean actually? Because after that we are going to see that Allah has put confusion on top of them so that they get confused and be wandering around or know where to go. But Musa alayhi salam is asking Allah to put a demarcation between him and them because they are transgressors. Is it a physical demarcation? Definitely no. Is it the kind of demarcation that would put the ibtila or put the punishment only on the Bani Israel without Musa and Jesus? Probably yes, according to some scholars, and according to others, he is asking Allah not to punish them by the um, uh, by the sin committed by these stupid people. Right? Sort of. That is what he was praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And actually, yes, even though they were all of them tried with the confusion became khair for Musa and his brother, and many things happen. Like many things happen during that time. قال إنها محرمة عليهم 40 سنة يتيهون في الأرض فلا تأس على القوم الفاسقين. And then Allah said, فإنها محرمة عليهم. This land is now prohibited on them. 40 سنة يتيهون في الأرض. They are going to wander in the land in confusion for 40 good years. ولا تأس على القوم الفاسقين. Do not get sad over these people that are transgressing all the boundaries. Right? Okay, a number of issues in this verse. First, فإنها محرمة عليهم. This land has now been prohibited for them. What kind of prohibition are we talking about here? A number of opinions about scholars. Right? Some of them said, well, they put the tahrim into two categories: tahrim tashri' wa tahrim imkan. Right? Tahrim tashri', that it's not permissible for them to get into the land, even if they want to, even if they can, is now not permissible for them to go in there. That is the first interpretation by some scholars. Right? And if you have taken this interpretation, then the verse is going to be recited as in قال فإنها محرمة عليهم 40 سنة وقف, and then يتيهون في الأرض, which is completely a different sentence, right? That is the way it's going to be recited. But the second interpretation says no, it is not tahrimu tashri, but it is tahrimu imkan. It is not impermissible for them, it's not like prohibited for them from the legal perspective, but it is not permissible for them from the possibility perspective. Allah would not give them, they would not make it possible for them to get into that land. Even if they want to, they will try, but it's not going to work out for them, right? Arba'ina sanatan, and this is going to take place for a whole 40 years. فإنها محرمة عليهم. Stop. أربعين سنة يتيهون في الأرض. They are going to wander in the land for 40 years. Why 40 years? Why not 30? Why not 20? Why not 100? Right? Allah has made it exactly 40 years because previously, when Musa alayhi salam wants to have a conversation with his Lord, Allah invited him for 40 days, right? To fast for 30 days. He did, and then Allah added additional 10 days, and he fasted for 40 days, and then he had that that exalted meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But during his absence, they decided to just start worshiping a calf, just a young cow. For 40 days they were worshiping. And when Musa alayhi salam came back, he became so angry and so furious, and talking to his brother Harun, why would you let them do this? And then Harun was giving an excuse that they have overpowered me, had no power over them. There was nothing I could do. يا ابن أم لا تأخذ بلحيتي ولا برأسي ولا برأسي إني خشيت أن تقول فرقت بين بني إسرائيل ولم ترقب قولي. Right, you're saying that. So it is in place of those 40 days that Allah now punished them for 40 years. A day with a year. A day of worshiping a calf with a year of wandering in the land and confusion. أربعين سنة يتيهون في الأرض, they will be confused and they will be wandering in the land for 40 years. فلا تأسى على القوم الفاسقين, and do not be sad about this. These are people who transgressed all boundaries, so don't worry about them. So during these 40 years, almost all of the ones that disobeyed, all the adults that disobeyed Musa died. All of them died, right? And their offspring, their younger ones, the ones who were below 20 at the time, and the ones who were born during the during the wonder, all of them grew up at the time, and then Allah gave them another permission to still go back to that holy land and fight those people. But before then, they still continue to harm Musa alayhi salam in one way or another. Like, for example, his brother died. His brother uh, Harun died during those years, and he buried him. He came back and reported to them that my brother died and I had buried him. They said, no, that's not true. You've killed your brother. We know that you don't like him because we like him. That is the reason you're so jealous that you kill your brother. لا تكونوا كالذين آذوا موسى فبرأه الله مما قالوا وكان عند الله وجيها. And then Musa said, okay, you don't believe me? Let's go to his grave. He went to his grave, and then he asked Harun alayhi salam to rise up from the dead with the permission of Allah, and he did. And then he asked him, did I kill you? And Harun said, no, you didn't kill me, I just died. He said, okay, go back to where you are. And he went back to his grave, and they saw that as a mu'jiza for Musa alayhi salam. That was when they now sort of just gave up. Not that they believed him, but they just sort of gave up because it's a normal thing with them. So many things happened, and one of the riwayat was even saying that Musa alayhi salam himself died. So Yusha, who was one of the two guys that were reported to have been not disappointing to Musa. قال رجلان من الذين يخافون. One of them is Yusha. Allah sent him, and he became a prophet and apostle. Allah sent him with the younger ones who now grew up to go to the Holy Land and fight and capture the land and settle down there. This is one narration. Another narration says no. Well, that guy, Allah sent him and he became prophet and an apostle. But Musa alayhi salam was still alive, but he was so old. So therefore, he made him the commander of the army. So they went with Musa alayhi salam, but him in front and Musa behind him, because Musa made him the commander. And they went to the Ard al-Muqaddasa, the Holy Land, fought the people and settled down in that land. واتل عليهم نبأ ابني آدم بالحق إذ قربا قربانا فتقبل من أحدهما ولم يتقبل من الآخر قال لأقتلنك قال إنما يتقبل الله من المتقين. O Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, also tell them the story of the two children of Adam alayhi salam, a story of true story. Qarraba qurbanan, when they have offered sacrifices for tuqabbala min ahadihima, and then it was accepted from one of them, walam yataqabbal min al-akhar, but the other one was rejected. Qala la'aqtulannak. Then he was so furious and angry, he said, I'm going to kill you. He told his brother, I'm going to kill you. قال إنما يتقبل الله من المتقين. And then the brother replied, What's mine? What's my sin? Allah accepts sacrifices from those who are God conscious. So it's not my fault, right? It's not my fault. And actually, when Allah created Adam, He created him in the heaven, as in the paradise of Eden. And the long story that we all know, which we study in Surah Al-Baqarah, at the end of the day, Allah brought him back to the earth, and after bringing him back to earth, and then he met his wife. When they were brought back to the earth, they were they descended in two different locations, and report says that Adam alayhi salam descended in around India, and his wife descended around Jeddah, now in Saudi Arabia. It took them a very long time before they met. And one day Allah instructed Adam to go for Hajj, and he was directed by Angel Gabriel, and he went to Mecca for Hajj. He went and performed Hajj. After he was done, he went to the mountain of Arafat, and that is where he met Hawa, his wife. So after meeting her, they were now a couple, and they gave birth to their children, and each of the pregnancy should give birth to twins, a boy and a girl, a boy and a girl, a boy and a girl. And she got pregnant 20 times, and in total they had 40 children. So the tradition and the Sharia at that time was that when they were of age of getting married, each boy will marry the girl that was born with another brother. He can marry any of the other girls except the one with which he was born together, right? So Adam alayhi salam wanted his son Habil to marry the sister of Qabil, the lady who was born together with Qabil. And he wanted Qabil to marry the lady who was born with Habil. But Qabil realized that the girl who was born together with him was more beautiful in his estimation. So he likes her, and he didn't like the Habil's sister, right? So he protested against it, and he even said that I don't think God tells Adam to do anything like that. I think he was just doing that on his own accord, probably because he likes Habil better than he likes me. So I'm not going to accept this. And Adam tried to explain, but he insisted. At the end, Adam alayhi salam told him that, look, if you don't like this idea, go and offer Qurban, go and offer sacrifice to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in those days, when people offer sacrifice, what used to happen is that a blue fire comes from heaven and take the one that is accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they went there and offered. So the fire came and took the one offered by Habil. And as God would have it, Habil was so pious that when he was offering the sacrifice, he was cattle rearer. So he has taken the best ram from among all the rams that he had, and he offered. But Qabil was a farmer, so he went and took all the bad fruits and put them together, and he offers them uh, as he offered them as qurban. And then the one offered by Habil was accepted, and the one he offered was rejected, right? So his sacrifice was not accepted, right? And that made him more angry. He became much, much more angry than he was already. And that was when he told his brother that I'm gonna kill you. And he even swore, لأقتلنك, لأقتلنك, لام القسم. I swear I'm gonna kill you, right? And that was when his brother, the God conscious brother, said, إنما يتقبل الله من المتقين. You don't have to blame me because it wasn't my fault that your sacrifice wasn't accepted by Allah, because Allah accepts the work or the deed of those who are God fearing, who are God conscious. This is where we are going to stop, inshallah, and we are going to continue tomorrow from where we stop. Allahumma hadina fiman hadayt wa tawallana fiman tawallayt wa barik lana fima a'tayt wa qina asrif anna bi rahmatika sharra ma qadayt fa innaka taqdi bil haqqi wa la yuqda alayka wa la yu'izzu man adayt wa la yadhillu man walayt tabarakta rabbana wa ta'ala. Allahumma aqsim lana min khashyatika ma tahulu bihi bainana wa bain ma'asik wa min yaqini ma tahunu bihi alayna masa'ib ad-dunya ومتعنا اللهم بأسماعنا وأبصارنا وقواتنا أبدا ما أحييتنا واجعله الوارث منا واجعل ثارنا على من ظلمنا وانصرنا على من عادانا ولا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا ولا مبلغ علمنا ولا إلى النار مسيرنا ولا تسلط علينا بذنوبنا من لا خافك بنا لا يرحمنا رب العالمين. اللهم ربنا زكي نفوسنا وآتها تقواها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها مولاها. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره الدار العظيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين.